yourself at deskelly.ie.
Outbreaks of rain will continue tonight, most frequent in the north and west. Lowest temperatures of 1 to 4 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball.
In association with Air. Don't miss live and exclusive Premier League action this month on the Air Sport Pack.
This is News Talk.
You're very welcome along. So, coming up this evening, Jason Quigley is back in the ring after 53 weeks out and back to winning ways as well. We're going to talk to the man from Ballybuffet just after 8 o'clock. We will have Bob Bubka standing by from Augusta as the countdown very much starts to Thursday. Mark Lawrenson will join us in the football show as we look forward to Liverpool against Manchester City tomorrow, as well as all the updates you'll need from Turin this evening. We will preview Juventus against Real Madrid this evening with Graham Hunter and James Horncastle at around 7:30. Richie McCormick is here as usual. Hello, Richie.
Well, Joe.
And fresh back from New York, no less, Dan McDonald.
Hi, Joe. How are things?
Very well, Dan.
Great place.
So I hear.
Did you bring sweets, Dan? Not for you, actually. No. Sorry about that.
Disappointing. We're done. I think we're done. So
yeah, I brought some for other work colleagues.
No, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Sorry about that.
No, it's no problem. So the world looked on to Augusta this afternoon as an interesting 4-ball warm-up kind of practice round began, featuring none other than Freddie Couples. I'm in the swing, Freddie.
Dear old Fred.
Yeah. Tiger Woods.
Yep.
Phil Mickelson. His old foe, his old nemesis.
Mates.
Friends. There's been amazing shots all afternoon. Twitter obsessed with this practice group. They teed off on the 10th. And there's shots of Tiger and Phil talking and laughing. And fourth member of the group, that's 8 green jackets you have there, by the way. Freddie won in 92. And Thomas Pieters.
Pretty happy with that.
You'd
want to be sticking close to Freddie, I think, because he obviously knows his way around. He's going to have a charge till around Friday afternoon or something.
Yeah.
And you want to sort of absorb advice off him. And Pieters has got himself in the right place there to get in the right 4-ball.
I just wondered, how did Thomas Pieters get drafted into this? Hi Thomas, do you want to come and play a practice round with me, Freddie Couples, Tiger Woods, and Phil?
Yeah, he's got people doing a good job for him. I mean, there's only 87 players maybe in the Masters. I mean,
smallest field in 20 odd years.
So it can sort of.
I know.
Things could fall your way. They don't want some lad out on his own holding off. You can't go out in a 1-ball, can you?
I know, but still, imagine. I mean, that's
good company.
Yeah,
he's also obviously he bombs it as well, doesn't he? So maybe they want to be. It could be good for the other lads almost to see where they're at. Distance wise and.
Well, Freddie Couples played with Tiger Woods yesterday. And couldn't get over what he was seeing, actually, because Freddie's had his own back trouble down the years. Never had surgery, but struggled quite badly. And he said of Woods yesterday, and I presume it's a similar story today, unless something's gone badly wrong. If you watch Tiger play today, there's not much of a back problem. He's hitting it a long way. It looks beautiful. Today wasn't any different than it was 10 years ago when we played. It was awesome.
He's a walking miracle, Joe. He's a walking miracle.
On his own website. Tiger Woods. So are you excited for 2018 Masters?
I think it's going to be good. I mean, because I was in the US over the weekend, I really enjoyed watching Poulter qualify for it. Sort of gets you in the mood for it. And you do forget when you're over there, it's on like terrestrial mainstream television, the Sunday afternoon final round. And Poulter rolling, doing his magic. You always associate watching golf like the late Sunday nights here in America, but disconcerting watching it during the afternoon, during the middle of the day. But the fact he's got into it now, he's got a bit of a vibe. But just the coverage is even building a small bit over there as well, and you just know there's something that reassuring familiarity of the Masters, the Masters week, and it's a pretty. I think you can't avoid it. Like, the Tiger factor makes things more interesting. It seems predictable to say it, and certainly, and you've made the point many times. The modern generation of golfers are all wealthy in a certain status because of Tiger, and him being back is great. And I think we all just want him to be there. I think over the weekend. I mean, even people that don't like him in a strange way probably find it more captivating when he's involved than when he's not.
Absolutely, and even the other players are fairly interested in him. I was watching Sky Sports are doing this on the range thing the last few days. Have you seen any of this?
Are they going overboard, Joe? Is it Sky Masters now? Is there like one of the channels?
Probably. I don't know. But I mean, this is completely overboard. This is from yesterday, where They just have.
I'm just
live
surprised you're
footage,
here and not at home with your feet up.
Live footage of
It's
the
been a good
driving
week to
range.
book off, really.
Wow.
It's just sad you didn't think of it now.
So it's just live footage of the driving range, and you just get to watch the players coming and going, talking to each other, hitting shots. They have like the Pro Tracer on shots on the driving range.
That's not something I'd want to watch for. I mean, I love golf, and I enjoy the Masters. I'm not sure if I want to watch them.
But it was
walking on the driving range.
It was
for a while.
unbelievably interesting just to watch them interact without them really realising they were being watched. In some ways it was a bit invasive. Like, I presume they were all told, but I mean, if you had lip readers there, you could have absolutely, if you were at home and you were able to lip read, I mean, you were full in on the conversation Rory McIlroy was having with John Ram and Jason Day at one point. And like, it's just funny watching them very unguarded and relaxed. Like, McIlroy walks over and all they're all doing is looking at his new runners. So it's John Ram, Jason Day, a few others, and he was just showing them. I was just like holding them up and showing them the other side of them, and they were just normal lads looking at his new runners.
You mean to think that golfers don't have sophisticated discussions about their swing every time they actually just talk about trivial things such as runners and that type of thing?
There was a point as well where
Joe, will you go to bed? I can't. Rory's talking about his runners.
He's got a nice pair of runners on.
It was kind of like when Big Brother used to just show it live in the house. I remember back when you could be obsessed with Big Brother. I was just watching the live feed sometimes back when Brian Dowling was in his pomp, It
still is, Joe.
I'd say it's a Soccer Saturday style Joe watching the Masters driving range. Let's go over to Joe here. Well, something big is going on.
That could be his
Rory's
in
walking
England.
across the range.
That's Joe's in into England.
They knew Tiger was arriving because Joe LaCava was there and put his bag down. And so, Tiger's coming. Said it's a tough gig being a commentator, by the way, on live at the range. But Tiger's definitely coming soon. But it was interesting. Freddie Couples and Ricky Fowler both went over for a snoop and started taking out his clubs, looking at them before Tiger got there. They were all interested in Tiger, is my point. They wouldn't go and look at many other lads' bags when he was
But
there.
is it not some chat that he's been more chatty on the range with other players?
Yeah.
Whereas before, I mean, I might have wanted to watch it before when he was in his pomp and people almost standing aside and not speaking to him, and sort of his presence making everyone unnerved.
He knows the aura is gone.
Yeah,
but he's dealing with it in his own way.
Yeah, because wasn't Alan Shipnuck, or one of the golf writers, was telling a story about one of the early tournaments where like Tiger came over in a break and play, slow play, and started like chatting to a couple of the golf writers and telling a couple of jokes in a stoppage. And is it natural to him? You still wonder deep down whether this is truly natural for him. Is this who he is, or is this part of, like, as you mentioned, he knows the aura is gone, that he almost has to reinvent himself? He has to reinvent his public image, and is it killing him inside to be this way?
Well,
people coming over grabbing his clubs, as part of him want to go, just get away from me. I'm a serious competitor. Leave me alone.
There's tons of theories about Tiger and his psychology. I mean, who knows the answers to a lot of those questions? Even like his psychological recovery from the DUI. I mean, you forget how out of it he was and what was going on there around that time to where he is now. But even Harrington was telling a story at a recent press conference over in Florida that he was there in the range and Tiger just came up and started chatting to him.
That was it.
And he was saying that just never happened before. Just didn't. So whatever his motivation, he certainly is changed. Obviously a lot of people are skeptical about it, and then others think, well, he's 42 now and been through a hell of an amount, so maybe it's possible that he's decided to try and enjoy things a bit more. It's hard to know the truth, I suppose. Cricket fans bang on about Lords, but I'm not into cricket, so it's nothing special to me. Wimbledon is the mecca for tennis fans rather, but I'm not into tennis, says Hayley, so it's nothing special to me.
Why'd you have to drag all these things down, Hayley? Just enjoy the Masters, for God's sake.
Ditto Wembley and the Crucible in snooker.
Come on, don't have a go with Crucible.
But even as a person who sort of hates golf, now Hayley, Augusta has a dreamlike quality that's hard to deny.
I think we've all found something to hate in Hayley's text there.
No, I think Hayley's spot on. So let's kick off this news round. We are here with Air, the home of Air Sport. Get amazing live sporting content free with Air Broadband. And we will start, Richie, with news which came through from Ulster Rugby today.
Yeah, Craig Gilroy has been suspended from his Ulster duties as he is now subject to an internal review. The winger will not be considered for selection for the province's trip to Edinburgh on Friday. Paddy Jackson and Stuart Olding are already subject to an internal review following the conclusion of their trial in Belfast last week. Both men were acquitted of rape charges. During the trial, it was revealed that somebody called CG was part of the WhatsApp group that exchanged messages with Olding and Jackson in the wake of the night at the centre of the trial.
We still have no timeline on when this process is due to conclude, do we?
No.
No indication?
None at all. Like, the statement that came out this evening was exceptionally brief. We're talking 2 lines. He said he's been stood down from his duties, part of an internal review.
Okay.
We'll be talking more about it.
We'll be talking Champions League preview coming your way around 7:30. It's it's a brilliant evening ahead.
Yeah, a repeat of last year's Champions League final helps this season's quarterfinals get underway in Turin. Juventus at home to Real Madrid. The teams are in for this one. For Juve, Gianluigi Buffon starts in goal. A back four of Mattia De Silio, Andrea Barzagli, Giorgio Chiellini and Kwadwo Asamoah. In midfield, Sami Khedira, Rodrigo Bentancur and Douglas Costa, along with Paulo Dybala and Alexandro, who's in a more advanced role on the left hand side. Gonzalo Higuain leads the line for them. As Dan pointed out before we went to air, it's the same Real 11 that started the Champions League final in Cardiff, with Keylor Navas starting in goal, Dani Carvajal, Sergio Ramos, Rafael Varane and Marcelo making up their back four, with Casemiro, Toni Kroos and Luka Modric in midfield, and Cristiano Ronaldo, Karim Benzema and Isco up front. Meanwhile, Manchester United's conquerors Sevilla play host to Bayern Munich. For Sevilla, David Soria starts in goal. Jesus Navas is at right full, with Sami Khedira, Clement Longley and Sergio Escudero making up the rest of their back four. Guido Pizarro, Steven Nzonzi and Paulo Sarabia are in midfield, with Franco Vasquez and Joaquin Correa in behind Wissam Ben Yedder. For Bayern, Sven Ulreich continues in goal for them. Joshua Kimmich, Mats Hummels, Jerome Boateng and Juan Bernat are across the back four. Arturo Vidal and Javi Martinez sit in midfield, with Thomas Muller, Thiago Alcantara and Frank Ribery in behind Robert Lewandowski. Both games kick off, as we should know, at 7:45.
Yeah, Graham Hunter on the way, and James Horncastle as well. I was reading, I don't know, did you read the Irish Independent this morning?
I didn't get a chance, Joe.
Wow, okay.
Didn't get a chance.
Oof, awkward.
That is awkward.
That's
Had it
unfortunate.
out on your flight home.
Oh,
No. Didn't
You're
fly,
blushing
didn't
now,
fly with
Dan.
an
You're
Irish.
blushing.
Didn't fly with an Irish
Oh my God,
airline.
you're now sweating. You won't be fired.
No, it's okay. I didn't get a chance, but I know there was
fine.
high quality fare, whatever you were reading,
Look,
Joe.
some say it's unmissable. You obviously don't believe that.
Yeah.
So they had Jason Burt. Sometimes the Independent carries stuff from the Telegraph.
Yeah.
And he had a sit-down interview for an hour with Allegri, and Allegri's been around for a long time now and had great success. I didn't know too much about him. He's a very interesting character. It's really worth checking out the interview. Like at one point, Jason Burt praised him for the tactical changes he made against Spurs to get to this point, and Allegri's just kind of like tactics. Would you go out with your tactics? He's like, tactics. I could never be a coach, he said, who mainly focuses on tactics or analytics. I'm more instinctive. The coach, in my opinion, bases his decisions on sensations, on perceptions. Otherwise, it would be enough to sit in front of the computer, and football would be like a PlayStation game. This is not who I am. In football, there are a lot of who try to reach perfection with figures, with tactics. But that's impossible because there are too many variables. So stuff your tactics, Jason Burt.
He gave a bit of that after the Spurs game as well. Typically, Yanag Fjortov tends to get the best post-match interviews from those involved in these stages of the competition now for Norwegian TV. And
I've seen that guy.
He got one with Allegri. Yeah. And it was in English. Allegri was completely unguarded and gave across the same demeanour as he does in that interview. He's like, listen, I just made a couple of changes. Let's try to make something work. I just wanted to get a result.
Got the impression he finds this whole statistics talk fairly tiring.
I find it interesting that he's granting an audience to an English journalist, though.
Well, he did. He said I've got 5-6 years more tops in club management, and he also said my next job will not be in Italy.
Yeah, it'll be at Chelsea.
He's playing the game. Yeah, this is definitely it. Like it's a privileged position sometimes for the English hacks to be in, that people want in. What was that story a while back about Mourinho holding up an entire press conference when he was at Madrid so the English journalists could get there on time because he'd heard they'd been delayed? This is clearly part of getting to know Allegri in this part of the world, because the name, the stories behind them doesn't resonate that much with people. As you say, probably just that conveyor belt to Chelsea coming, I'm sure.
Well, if I was a Premier League owner reading this piece, I would have been very impressed. I would have thought, God, he's
that's the plan, Joe.
That's very well.
You're the target market they're looking at.
Hi lads, I'm listening in. I can't wait for the Masters. I'm heading to Spain tomorrow to play golf by day and watch the Masters by night. Heaven. Oh, that is amazing.
That would be up there with your dream week.
Dream. Yeah. That is doing it properly. Once he or she isn't going on their own.
I'd say you'd take a weekend. You
would
absolutely take a weekend.
You could watch a bit of the driving range and the Masters in the morning to set you off.
It's called Live at the Range, Dan.
Live at the Range.
That's the name of the programme.
Sitting there with your cup of hot milk, watching Live at the Range.
So
way in a hack, aren't you?
Liverpool City injuries.
Yeah, Liverpool. We'll start actually with City. They have ruled Sergio Aguero out of tomorrow's Champions League quarter-final first leg at Anfield. The Argentine forward didn't travel with the team due to injury and is also a doubt, it seems, for Saturday's Manchester derby.
He's in Manchester. He didn't come.
Oh, right. How serious is the problem?
He was injured in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. He's still not fit.
Will he get back to the derby at the weekend?
We'll see.
Liverpool only have 2 fit centre halves for tomorrow night's game in Anfield. Joel Matip ruled out for the rest of the season with a thigh injury that requires surgery, while Ragnar Klavan hasn't trained with the squad. The outlook isn't far brighter in midfield for them, with Emre Can out and Adam Lallana already ruled out with a hamstring issue. Andrew Robertson was today asked how you set up to defend against an attacking force like City's.
Their movement is a joy to watch at times, and as a defender you need to be aware of that. You need to be aware of where your man is at all times and where he's trying to get to, and if we can do that and focus on where they're going, then hopefully we're first there and we can stop the ball coming or get a block in or whatever. But also we'll be hopefully being attacking a lot as well, and we can push them back into areas that they don't really want to go.
You probably didn't see much of City at the weekend against Everton. Rich, I'm sure you caught them. Just ridiculous again. It was like 3-4 minutes in, they scored their first goal in 4 minutes. A sense of, it's nice to be back in this team after the international break. It's just clicked instantly, and Everton players straining every sinew to try and stop them. At one point David Silva just nutmegged Seamus Coleman, who was desperately trying to get back and working so hard, and Silva was so cool and in control. He saw this coming a mile away and just popped it between Coleman's legs, and you thought, my God, these lads are on a different planet. There
was a fantastic video did the rounds yesterday, the day before. I don't know how old it is, probably a little bit at this stage, showing Pep on the training ground, first for Barcelona and then for Manchester City, adjusting the body position of the players just as they're about to receive the ball. Like, it's the little minute details like that, and he's getting so into it, but he's telling them in the nicest ways, like, Johan Cruyff taught me this on the training ground, where if I position my ball this way, then I have a field of vision that's X, as opposed to just having a static kind of look at it.
There was a bit of that with Sterling earlier in the season, wasn't there? A clip of Raheem Sterling, with Pep doing that particular move on the training ground, and then it just flicks to like a match situation where he's received it exactly the same way.
Kev Kilban, I don't know, has he done it on air yet, but he's been saying a lot around the office that he's starting to think, former players who've played the game, unlike Mourinho or Rafa Benitez at a very high level, are better when it comes to coaching attacking football, and he partially bases on some of that stuff that Guardiola can do and get in there. The minutiae he feels is almost more important in attacking football. I don't want to misquote Kev, so we'll put that to him again, but he's been saying that around the office lately. Contentious. He's going to have to say it on air now.
He's going to have to hobble in here, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Is he okay?
We don't have an injury update on Kevin Kilban, the former Republic of Ireland winger, who has damaged his left foot in a...
Might be a broken foot.
Yeah,
rumours suggesting,
in a charity game yesterday
against Northern Ireland.
Against the North, yeah.
It was the Ryan McBride. It was the Ryan McBride Foundation were organising the day of the Brandywell yesterday. So there was there was quite, I think, Damien Duff and a few other people involved as well.
Hunty.
And Kevin Doyle was down to be involved. I'm not sure who ended up being there in the end, but one man left on crutches anyway.
He was loath to admit who did it to him, by the way, and still hasn't.
Okay. He never got injuries like that during his Ireland career, because he played for around 12 years on the run. That's just catching up with him now.
On Liverpool Man City, by the way, we will have Mark Lawrenson with us on the football show, and naturally we'll ask him what films he's seen lately. He has already reviewed Molly's game for us and 3 billboards on his last appearance. So we'll see what's been catching his eye lately. He's an astute film observer, Dan.
He knows his stuff.
He does. Yeah. Jack Nicholson's his favourite all-time actor.
Really?
Yeah.
Told us to hear Mark doing
I think he stood us up because he was in the cinema at one point.
That's how it came up.
20 minutes later he was like, sorry, and then it just went down the Barry Norman route.
He was at Molly's game that night and felt, not just because he was late for us, but it could have done with 20 minutes left on the cutting room floor. So that was this is Laurel.
Some say the same about this show sometimes, Joe.
Well,
when you're talking about
they're not wrong.
Live at the Range.
Look, Live at the Range.
Listen, there's 5 or 6 people out there who agree with Joe on this.
Hardcore. Tiger Woods will play alongside world number 12 Tommy Fleetwood and the Aussie Mark Leishman for the opening rounds of something called the Masters, which gets underway on Thursday. It's Woods' first tilt at winning the green jacket since 2015. Rory McIlroy will be partnered by 2013 Augusta champion Adam Scott and the world number 3 John Rahm. World number 1 Dustin Johnson is grouped with last year's runner-up Justin Rose and Rafa Cabrera Bello. Sergio Garcia starts his week looking to retain his green jacket in a group that also includes Justin Thomas and last year's US amateur champion Doc Redman. McIlroy says he has one simple way to prepare.
Just to play. This is the most I've played going into the Masters basically in my career. It used to be sort of my 6th or 7th start. This is my 9th start this year. So I think playing a bunch has been a really good thing for me. Playing the golf course a lot. I played 54 holes here Wednesday, Thursday last week. I was up here a couple of weeks before that. I played another 36. So just getting real comfortable on the golf course, different pin positions, different shots, playing one ball, shooting scores. And if you can do it around there, in that environment, there's no reason why you can't go out and do that in the tournament as well.
You may not realise that, Richie, but that interview was taken from live at the range yesterday. So there you go, there's some good stuff in there. He was also saying, interestingly, McIlroy, that the big change he's made this year is generally, and you can understand it, because imagine you were friends or family of any player going to Augusta, but generally he's rented a house and brought over 8 to 10 to 12 to 14 people who, you want to get to Augusta. And he said it's a big production and you've got a chef there and you're trying to cater for everyone, whereas this year it's very pared back. He's treating it like a normal tournament, so there's no entourage over with him this year.
Yeah, because I seem to remember at the time, obviously, we had the last round implosion. There was a bit of chat about his entourage that week being a huge positive. It's great how you can just change the story depending on how things go. Just trying to find a different formula.
Half the time you're just kidding yourself in this game. Whatever you did last year and didn't work, do something different and see what happens. So Sean O'Brien, we're not sure about.
Yeah, he remains in a race to be fit for Leinster's Champions Cup semi-final with the Scarlets. The coaching staff say he still has some markers hitting his return from a shoulder injury, and he remains a doubt so for this Saturday's Pro 14 clash with Zebre. The province are also continuing to monitor Luke McGrath's ankle injury and Rhys Ruddock's hamstring issue as the week progresses. Leinster, though, hopeful that both Jordan Larmour and Jack Conan will be back in the fold for the Scarlets game. Revealed today that'll have a 3:30 kick-off on Saturday, April 21st at the Aviva, by the way. Scrum coach John Fogarty was in front of the cameras today and says O'Brien still has plenty of work to do.
He did everything he could last week. He did everything he could to get back. He was quite close, but the feeling is he's a few more markers to kind of get to. Whether he gets there this week or not, I wouldn't be so sure. But again, we got to see how he fronts out in the field. If he's making those and he gets to the weekend, and he'll get there. But at this moment in time, he has a few markers to get to. It's important that he comes back and is nice and fresh. We don't want him back and thinking about his injury or worrying about his injury and then, not performing to the ability that he can. So it's exciting that he's very close to coming back. I'm not quite sure will he get there this week, but he's doing all he can at this stage.
Yeah. Not a bad fella to welcome back. I mean, it's ridiculous, the strength and depth. Sinead Maguire says, don't listen to them at Malloy Joe. # live at the range. Thank you, Sinead. I never do. And speaking of welcoming people back, Mayo are happy.
Yeah, Connacht Championship preparations given a timely boost today for Mayo. Keith Higgins back in the panel, having spent the league campaign with the county's hurlers. The four-time All-Star trained with the football panel for the first time in 2018 last night. Mayo, of course, begin their Connacht Championship with a quarter-final against league finalists Galway. That is on May 13th.
Cheers, Richie. So that is our news round done for this evening. We have Jason Quigley with us after 8 o'clock, his first fight in just over a year. We'll talk to him about that. That was over the weekend in Boston. We'll have Bob Bubka at Augusta, Mark Lawrenson on the football show. And up next, we are looking forward very much to Juventus against Real Madrid.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
In association with Air. Watch every UEFA Champions League and Europa League game on the Air Sport Pack.
Down to business.
Winning back the High Street is travelling up the M1 to the border town of Dundalk on Saturday, April 14th